On the day Lucy Reynolds married her lover, the hospital contacted her to inform her of my condition, but she hung up without hesitation. Later, her lover's heart surgery succeeded, and she expressed a desire to thank the donor's family. Her best friend, upon checking the records, was stunned. Lucy. In the family section, it's your signature. The donor is James Carter. With a clear ding, the priceless gemstone in Lucy's hand slipped and shattered on the marble floor. She realized she had missed her final chance to see me. The luxury Crown Hotel was holding a grand wedding that day, filled with media coverage and live streams. Amid the festive music and chatter, a voice broke through the crowd, "Wow, President Lucy, remarried already?" The question, asked by a bold young journalist, silenced the room. Today would have been our 7th wedding anniversary. The groom, Ethan Moore, was wearing the exact watch Lucy had once bought for me, his tailored suit matched my measurements. And the woman at his side, my wife. No wonder the reporter asked. Ethan staggered slightly, and Lucy instinctively supported him, her expression stern. "If you keep making defamatory remarks, we'll press charges." Yet the reporter pushed further, questioning how Ethan got where he was it really merit, or a connection? The comments section exploded. This reporter must have been sent by her ex-husband, so petty. Feel bad for Ethan. What kind of boy toy dares host such a lavish wedding like this? Ethan, nervous but trying to stay calm, lightly tugged Lucy's arm. Why not invite brother James Carter? I'd really love his personal blessing if he's willing. Because the truth was, Ethan had received someone else's heart. And this wedding had been thrown together so fast, Lucy hadn't even finalized the divorce certificate. Any attempt to clear her name would only make her look guilty. Only one thing could settle it, me, her ex-husband, standing there to offer my blessing. Lucy snorted, then turned to the reporter. Fine. I'll let James Carter tell you himself. She took out her phone and removed my number from her block list. The phone rang again and again, no answer. Frustrated, she fired off message after message. Was that reporter you're doing? You said this wedding was just symbolic. Ethan was only attending for the kid. Come explain. Don't ghost me now. The guests are waiting. I wasn't playing dead. Half an hour earlier, the doctor had officially pronounced me deceased. Now I was lying on a cold surgical table, a network of tubes trailing from my body. They were extracting viable organs for transplantation. The rest would be donated to science, as I had agreed to become a cadaver for medical training. I wanted every part of me to still serve a purpose. Eventually, the persistent reporter was dragged out by security. Ethan seemed disappointed. Guess brother James still doesn't want to see me. Lucy, however, assumed I was behind the journalist's interruption and texted more angrily. Right before the stage vows, Lucy's phone rang again. She answered irritably to hear a calm female voice. Excuse me, is this Ms. Reynolds? Mr. James Carter signed an organ donation agreement. He's being transferred at 2 this afternoon. Would you like to say goodbye? Lucy sneered. What, trying to guilt-trip me with death now? No, Ms. Reynolds. He's already passed away. In the live stream chat, the curses flew fast. Seriously? Die on your ex-wife's wedding day? Just let him rest. What kind of ex haunts people from the grave? So pathetic, trying to steal her moment even in death. Lucy hung up without another word. Ethan walked over, concerned. Was that brother James? Is he coming? Always the good boy in front of Lucy, never angry, never jealous. She wrapped her arms around his waist and mocked, see? Even on his deathbed, he had to make up a dramatic excuse. Then Ethan's phone buzzed. He picked up, listened, and tears welled in his eyes. Brother James. He was mad at me. Was that him on your line too? Did he say anything mean to you? Suddenly he clutched his chest, gasping. Wife, my chest hurts. I can't breathe. Lucy's face drained of color. She scooped him up and ran toward the hospital, leaving behind a stunned crowd and a live stream full of chaotic comments. The ex isn't even cold yet, and the groom's collapsing. This whole wedding is cursed. Can the dead man stop being so dramatic? Later, the doctors confirmed that Ethan Moore, long suffering from heart disease, had finally received a suitable donor. Lucy signed the transplant consent papers without hesitation and watched him disappear behind operating room doors. Only once he was safely in surgery did she have time to rage again at me. My phone remained unanswered. Her messages piled up. The wedding's done. Are you happy now? But as she typed, she didn't notice the hospital staff rolling a bed past her. The sheet fluttered for just a moment, me face exposed. She only had to glance up and she'd have seen me. But she was still too busy texting. After a few hours, the doctor came out smiling. The operation was a success. Ethan was transferred to recovery. When he woke up, he cried the moment he saw Lucy. "Wife, I almost didn't make it. It's all my fault. I was so scared I'd never see you or Ziheo again." Lucy was visibly moved, gently stroking his hair. "We've got a long road ahead. Right now, focus on recovering. That's what matters most." Ethan nodded obediently. His frailty only made him more lovable. Lucy sighed and decided to stay and take care of him personally. On the day Ethan was discharged, he sent the hospital a banner and thank you note. The doctor smiled and said, "If you want to thank someone, thank the man who gave you his heart." Ethan tugged Lucy's sleeve. "The doctor's right. Let's find the donor's family. I owe him my life." And so, Lucy finally took the doctor's words to heart. Coincidentally, a few of Lucy Reynolds's close friends gathered at her countryside manor for an afternoon tea. The donor's information wasn't publicly disclosed, but she asked Charlotte Evans to discreetly investigate. Charlotte agreed without hesitation. During their conversation, as always, the topic drifted back to me. "By the way," one of them smirked, "that ex-brother-in-law of yours, she hasn't caused any new drama, has he?" The whole internet had been buzzing with speculation, and I'd somehow become a recurring subject in their circle's gossip. Lucy sneered faintly but said nothing, guilt gnawing at her. Another friend sighed. "I still remember how in love you two looked back then. I honestly don't understand his behavior now." A flicker of annoyance crossed Lucy's face. "True, when she married me, there was no wedding, no vows, and even the long-awaited 7th anniversary had been ruined. I was hurt. Maybe even bitter. But causing a scandal at her and Ethan Moore's wedding? That, in their eyes, was unforgivable. Ethan was raising a child, frail in health, and didn't deserve the distress." "You finally decided to become a mother," someone said gently, but he nearly drove Ethan to a collapse. "Honestly, Ethan's been through a lot these years, we've all seen it." They always referred to Ethan Moore with affectionate respect. Hearing her friends defend him, Lucy felt even more resolute. If she found me, she'd give me a proper scolding. It wasn't easy for me to finally start a family with Ziheo, she thought, why can't he understand and let go? But I was dying. I told her that, but she didn't believe me. She believed Ethan Moore, never me. I remember clearly the day I learned my leukemia had returned. It was at the hospital, and I ran into Ethan Moore by chance. Lucy wasn't with him. That day, Ethan dropped his usual docile front. He tilted his head with mock innocence and asked, loud enough for others to hear, "Oh, Mr. Carter, here for a checkup? Don't tell me your old illness is back. Though it makes sense, President Lucy hasn't been in your bed for a long while, right?" His pride was palpable. And he was right. Lucy hadn't touched me in months. The last time we were intimate was over 2 months ago, during a family dinner at her parents' house. She had a bit too much wine, and we spent the night together. It had been tender, like rediscovering each other after years apart, as if we were newlyweds again. We cuddled, whispered softly in the dark. Soon after that night, I began having persistent low-grade fevers. Ethan glanced at my diagnosis sheet with a strange look, then leaned close and whispered with a smirk, "Let's make a wager, Mr. Carter. If both I and the child needed her at the same time, who would she choose?" His voice oozed mockery. "What do you have left now? No love, no trust, no understanding. Might as well give up your spot and let someone more deserving take it." He played the long game, orchestrating a dramatic disappearance with the child in tow. He cut off all contact, leaving behind only one cryptic message: "I am not worthy of her. Please don't look for us." At first, Lucy didn't panic. She even hugged me that night, tearfully apologizing. She took charge of our 7th anniversary as if to reclaim what we had lost. She was once again the Lucy I loved, tender, attentive, full of warmth. Until one of her friends stumbled upon Ethan Moore's newly created social media account. It was a vlog series of life entries of a single father raising a child alone. His face was never shown, but in one of the clips, he accidentally revealed a registration booklet. Lucas Reynolds. Under "Mother," the space was blank. "Baby," Ethan's voice trembled, "maybe Mom won't accept us. But don't worry. Dad will love you double." Lucy watched that video on loop, her hands shaking. That night, she didn't sleep a wink. The next morning, her voice hoarse, she turned to me. "I've booked a flight. I'm going to bring him and the child back myself." Then she handed me a divorce agreement. "James Carter, let's do a fake divorce for now. The child's innocent. I don't want him growing up in a broken family, facing whispers and judgment. We'll remarry once he's older." My body went numb, like boiling water poured directly into my veins. Just the morning before, she had been lying next to me, stroking my face with delicate fingers and murmuring, "Let's adopt a child, James. Boy or girl, just one will be enough. I think they'd have your eyes, my nose. So adorable. From now on, the three of us will never be apart." She loved children. We'd never had one because of her medical condition. To protect her pride, I had always claimed the issue was with me. I stared at the papers in her hand. "Have you truly thought this through?" "Hurry," she pressed, "I don't have time to argue." I tried to tell her about the relapse, about my limited time, but she merely rubbed her temples, clearly exasperated. "He has a kid now, and you're dying. What a coincidence." "Fine. See a doctor, I'll pay the bills." I locked myself in the apartment for 3 days and 3 nights. At last, I made my decision. No more treatment. I would disappear quietly. I had no family left. The only person I ever truly cared for was Lucy. And if she had moved on, then I had no right to disturb that peace. I just wanted to hear her voice one last time. So I called. But it wasn't her voice that answered, it was Ethan Moore's dry chuckle. "Mr. Carter," he said smoothly, "so what if you're sick? You've lost. From now on, your woman belongs to me." Then, raising his voice, "Wife, James Carter sounds miserable. Maybe he regrets everything. Do you want to comfort him?" Lucy's voice came through faintly, weary and disappointed. "James. Can you stop this? Are you seriously competing with a child now?" My chest tightened. I held back the tears. Did she really think I would lie about dying? Did she think I was like him, manipulative, theatrical? I was speechless. Somewhere along the way, she had started trusting Ethan Moore more than she ever trusted me. She believed everything Ethan Moore said without hesitation, while every word from my mouth was seen as unreasonable, even manipulative. She had run out of patience. "I can't let Ethan's child grow up motherless," she said coldly. "You should focus on your health and stop making trouble." But she was the one who knew my medical history better than anyone. Her cold dismissal shattered something inside me. With a blank mind, I signed the consent form to forego treatment and let the hospital admit me into the palliative ward. When death was near, they still followed protocol and asked me to contact my next of kin. I gathered my last strength to call Lucy Reynolds. I didn't even get to finish my sentence. Her voice on the other end was sharp, impatient. Don't start with your melodrama. I'm not leaving the wedding venue. James Carter, what have you turned into? I heard my heart break audibly, physically. A dull, crushing sound echoed in my chest. My voice barely held on. Lucy Reynolds. I'm dying. She snapped, then go die. Lucy Reynolds. I'm really dead. It's been more than a month since my death, yet Lucy Reynolds and the others still hadn't realized it. Online speculation about me hadn't quieted at all. People began to notice that if infamous ex-husband hadn't responded to a single rumor. Everyone assumed I was hiding in shame. Some even launched a whole social media campaign, let's find Lucy's ex. He must be a cuckold. He's too humiliated to show up. He was so noisy before, now he's vanished completely. My name was tainted. My silence was seen as cowardice. In a private laboratory, the staff had completed the post-mortem processing. Their technique was refined. My preserved specimen was flawless textbook quality. The skin on my chest and abdomen had been carefully peeled, revealing cleanly layered anatomical structures. They even gave me a new name, Evan Stone. I would soon be transported to the city's Life Mystery Museum for public exhibition. Meanwhile, Lucy Reynolds was dining with her friends. They teased her about the recent jade auction. She had successfully bid on a rare jade piece locket, a gift, she explained, for Ethan Morito, bring him luck and safety. It was a vivid emerald green, incredibly expensive. I had to fight hard to get it, she said proudly. Bidding was brutal that day. Charlotte Evans chimed in, didn't you also win a string of imperial green beads a couple of days ago? That one was worth, what, 10 million? Lucy hesitated. That was supposed to be for James Carter. His birthday's coming up. Her friends looked at each other and chuckled. TSK. Still thinking of him, huh? You're so mad at the man, but still buy him expensive gifts. She tried to defend herself. He's still my husband. I'll give it to him if he comes back and apologizes properly. Just then, Charlotte's phone rang. It was a message. The heart donor's identity has been confirmed. Great, send it to me, she replied. But as she opened the file, her face stiffened. Her fingers trembled slightly. Lucy. The emergency contact. It's your name. Lucy didn't even look up. What, you want me to call them? Just get their info. I'll prepare a check. Ethan needs closure, and we can give the donor's family some peace too. She had it all worked out. A donation. A thank you. A neat solution. But Charlotte's voice cracked. Lucy. It was your name. Your handwriting. The donor was James Carter. Lucy's fingers stopped playing with the peace locket. Her gaze slowly rose. What did you say? Charlotte didn't flinch. The heart that saved Ethan Moore came from James Carter. Your brother-in-law is gone. There was a sharp ding. The locket slipped from Lucy's hand and shattered on the floor. She grabbed Charlotte's phone with trembling hands, her eyes locked on the screen. The signature was smudged, warped by faint water stains. But she knew that handwriting. It was hers. A few years back, I was first diagnosed with leukemia. When I showed her the confirmation letter, she cried for hours in secret. But in front of me, she smiled, hugged me, proposed to me right there in the hospital. We registered our marriage with the support of other patients in the ward. This illness is treatable, she said, you'll get better, and we'll hold a proper wedding after. Back then, CAR-T therapy had just arrived from abroad. One shot cost more than €400,000, a fortune for two fresh graduates. She was a proud woman, confident, never one to bend. But to save me, she swallowed her pride, entered sales, and began entertaining clients. She drank until she vomited blood. Her slender frame, once vibrant and healthy, withered. She weighed less than 40 kilograms. For all that, her boss only gave her a €1,000 bonus, a tiny fraction of the promised commission. She knelt on the office floor, begging. "It's for my husband's life." But he fired her instead, had security throw her out. That was the first time she ever got into a fight. Her face was bruised. I rushed from my ward to hers just 300 meters, but it felt like a lifetime. She lay unconscious, broken. I discharged myself that day. In the hospital corridor, I saw a volunteer promoting body donation. I asked for a form. Later, when she came to, I joked lightly, "Look, I signed up to donate my body. At least I'll still be useful to the world. But I need a witness. Lucy, can you sign for me?" She tore up the form immediately. I offered another. She gritted her teeth and cried, "You're too young for this. Donation happens after 50. And besides, we're husband and wife. We'll live and die together. Don't you remember?" I held her hand, trembling. "I don't want this either. But if this is my fate, then let my death have meaning. Let someone walk with my heart, see with my eyes. Let them carry a part of me, even after I'm gone. That, too, is life." In the end, she signed. Her tears smeared the ink. She even signed up herself. "If you become a cadaver teacher," she said, "I'll be right there beside you even in death." Not long after, one of Lucy's major clients found out about her personal situation and pulled the plug on a lucrative deal, threatening to only give it back to her if she proved stability. That crisis forced us to make a decision. We opened our own company. The client's advance payment became the lifeline I needed to afford the experimental injection. Later, the business expanded beyond anything we imagined. Profits rolled in. We saw multiple seven-figure contracts. But the woman who once sacrificed her pride, who once loved me more than life itself, she changed. And now, as Charlotte Evans uttered the words, "Lucy Reynolds, the heart donor was your brother-in-law," Lucy collapsed into a chair like someone whose soul had been torn out. "No. Impossible." Her voice trembled violently. She shook her head repeatedly, her lips barely forming the words. "How could he die? That's not right. The doctors said he was stable. There must be a mistake. Charlotte, the people you hired are clearly unreliable." But Charlotte didn't flinch, only looked on with quiet sorrow. When Lucy finally stopped mumbling, Charlotte spoke again. "There's no mistake. I even obtained his death certificate." She handed over her phone, the hospital's official seal clearly printed at the bottom of the document. The date, the cause, everything was there. "Your brother-in-law passed due to leukemia relapse and full organ failure." Lucy didn't take the phone. She stared at it with dead eyes, her voice hollow. "James Carter couldn't have relapsed. He was always healthy. Always strong." Even now, she refused to believe me. Charlotte persisted, her tone calm. "Lucy. He'd been under treatment for months. And the date of his death? It was the same day you married Ethan. No wonder Ethan Moore got a heart donor that smoothly." Finally, Lucy took the device from Charlotte, her hands trembling. Her pupils dilated as she read every word, one by one. "It's true. He was really sick." Her voice cracked. "When he told me, I thought he was just trying to compete with Ethan. I didn't believe him. I even yelled at him." She laughed through her sobs, her body shaking. "God! What kind of sick joke is this?" Suddenly she dropped to her knees and slammed her fist into the cold marble floor. Blood blossomed across her knuckles, but she didn't care. Charlotte's voice was quiet. "I'm so sorry, Lucy." But Lucy shot up and bolted out the door. "Lucy, wait!" Charlotte shouted. Lucy didn't stop. She drove back to the old house, the one we called our wedding home. She hadn't stepped foot in it for months, not since she moved into that massive estate on the east side with Ethan Moore. The air inside was stale, but the furniture still stood as it always had. Only a thin film of dust coated the surfaces. I always loved cleanliness. On the balcony, the once vibrant flower beds were withered. Even my cherished Scottish green rose, the one she gifted me when I first came to the city, had turned brittle and brown. I loved plants. I couldn't resist them. But we had no garden then, just a small apartment balcony. She found a cutting, potted it, and built a little wooden rack for me to display them. One day, she promised, "I'll buy you a manor. We'll have real land and a gardener to plant all the flowers you love." That tiny stem survived under her care. The year it finally bloomed was the year I was diagnosed. She brought a handful of those green roses to my hospital bed, wrapped in newspaper. Scottish green roses. Eternal love. James Carter, I love only you. Through sickness and health, life and death. Later, when we could afford it, our homes grew bigger. We moved several times, but that rose stayed with us. Our constant. Eventually, she bought that 20-acre estate, and on 5 of them, she planted nothing but green roses for me. But all it took was one line from Ethan Moore, "I like roses too." They lift my spirits. Might even help me recover faster. And just like that, she moved in with him. Now, Lucy stood before the withered pot, her thoughts a storm behind her blank eyes. Charlotte appeared behind her. "Lucy. Here are his medical records." Lucy took the thick folder. Her face stiffened. Her hands trembled. She opened it. A few pages slipped and scattered. She bent to retrieve one. It was a diagnostic report, and the moment her eyes landed on the details, her knees buckled. Charlotte caught her. Wasn't this what James had before? Lucy didn't answer. She sprinted to the study and pulled open a drawer. Inside were dozens of neatly kept medical files, the reports from when she accompanied me to treatment. She had kept them all. She laid both documents side by side. The results were identical. Unmistakable. Charlotte went pale. After Ethan left. It was me. I found his account. I told you about the videos. Her voice cracked with guilt. I didn't think it'd turn out like this. I just wanted to help. She bowed her head like a child. If I hadn't shown you Ethan's vlog, maybe you and James would still be okay. It's my fault. Lucy didn't speak. She sat in silence, her gaze distant. Her phone buzzed again. Ethan Moore. She stared at the screen, then declined the call. After a long moment, she stood and began to rummage through the bedroom, searching for my things. But I'd already taken care of that. When I decided to leave, I gave away my belongings, deleted my photos. She didn't even find a single picture of me. They rushed to the hospital, hoping to request my last moments on surveillance. But the hospital informed them the footage was only kept for 30 days. Too late. Charlotte pleaded with the hospital for my records, and finally found the nurse who had cared for me in my final hours. He seemed calm, the nurse said gently. Only wanted to hear a voice one last time. But after a phone call, his face changed. He looked broken. He signed the DNR form without hesitation, didn't even read the fine print. We urged him to reconsider, to sleep on it, but he refused with a faint smile and said he simply wanted to die quietly. Lucy Reynolds stood frozen, staring at the resuscitation record sheet. Everything was written there in clear, clinical language, from my final decline to the moment my death was declared. 10:25 multiple organ failure. 10:37 blood pressure plummeted to 80/40 mmHg. 11:05 regained brief consciousness, called family to explain condition, the call was terminated by the other party. Heart rate dropped to 40 bpm. Blood pressure unreadable. 11:37 flatline. No arterial pulse. No spontaneous respiration. Time of death recorded. She crumpled to the ground, fists pounding her temples, face buried in her arms, sobbing. Mr. James's personal effects were collected by a friend, someone added. That same friend helped coordinate the organ donation. So there's nothing left of my brother-in-law. Charlotte Evans immediately realized his slip and tried to steer the conversation elsewhere. Did Mr. James have any other close friends? Lucy slowly shook her head. I never had many friends. I'd built my world around her. After my first remission, we ran the company together and met people in the business world, but I was never good at socializing. Later, when I collapsed from exhaustion, doctors forced me to rest. I left the company, disconnected further. She opened Ethan Moore's medical files again, still no official mention of a child. During the transplant, had anyone even verified DNA between him and that so-called son? The surgeon denied it. That's not within our protocol, he said. When they left the hospital, Lucy drove straight toward the city's Red Cross office to ask about my remains. Halfway there, her assistant called. Ms. Reynolds, we found something regarding Mr. James's whereabouts. The voice hesitated, unsure whether to continue. It's on social media. Apparently he's at the Museum of the Mysteries of Life. The assistant sent her a link. She tapped it open. A live stream was underway. A reporter stood beside a human anatomical specimen. The cadaver teacher behind me is Evan Stone, he said. But what's going viral is Thish suspected to be the missing ex-husband, Mr. James Carter, the man everyone's been looking for. Lucy stared at the screen, stunned. The reporter looked familiar. Charlotte said softly, that's Benjamin Harris. You remember him? He's the one who grilled you on Ethan being a kept man. He's a financial reporter, Lucy murmured. Why does he care so much about James? Charlotte asked, did James ever mention him? Lucy shook her head. Of course I hadn't. Meanwhile, the comments in the live stream scrolled furiously. Is this really the ex-husband? Seems staged. Probably just PR to rehabilitate his image. Didn't this guy call Ethan Moore a pretty boy last time? He's obviously biased. This is disrespectful to the cadaver teacher community. They picked a random body and called him James Carter. Disgusting. The camera panned over the figure labeled Evan Stone. Muscles, joints, nerves, everything perfectly preserved. Does it look like him? Lucy whispered. Is it him? But the face had been surgically anonymized. Charlotte hesitated. The build is similar. But I can't be sure. Lucy bolted toward the garage. I want to see for myself. At the museum, a docent was guiding a group of medical students through the exhibit. He pointed toward the dissected torso. You'll notice that this specimen's chest cavity is empty. That's because his heart was donated to a critically ill patient. According to records, once he learned his illness had returned, he signed a document to donate all usable organs. He hoped to give someone else a second chance. Lucy was still in her car, watching the broadcast. When she heard that last line, she slammed on the brakes and crashed into a guardrail. Her head collided with the steering wheel. Blood trickled down from a gash in her forehead. Charlotte arrived moments later, rushed to her door. Lucy, let me take you to the hospital. No, she whispered. Take me to James. Charlotte yelled for the driver to step on it. Lucy's phone rang again. She glanced at the caller ID Ethan Moore. She hung up without a second thought. The live stream was still going. The camera zoomed in on the chest. As you can see, the guide said solemnly, the lungs and heart are gone. They were used in transplants. The rest of his remains were donated to medical education. His name is not on display, but we found a handwritten note near his file. The screen paused on a slip of paper. On it, in my handwriting, the world is beautiful. I haven't had enough time, just over 20 years, but I've loved deeply. Dear medical students, I hope you'll one day cure all the illnesses that took people like me away. Keep going. James Carter. This was written 7 years ago, the reporter added. When he first signed his donor registration. Back then, she still loved me. I still believed the world was kind. The barrage of comments exploded. No way. James Carter could never have written something like that. Too noble. Too poetic. He was a selfish man. Someone's trying to clean his name with a corpse. Is this propaganda? I think it's real. This man Evan Stone gave everything. He saved lives. Oh my God, it's really him. We've been played like fools. Wait and panic. Maybe it was all a coincidence. Maybe Evan Stone was just someone with the same name, a tragic figure conveniently mistaken for me. The internet remained skeptical. Lucy Reynolds, where did your ex-husband find these donation channels? I want to contribute too. She shook her head. I don't know. He never told me. After our company turned a profit, I began donating every year to support sick children. Quietly. I also set up education sponsorships for underprivileged students. Benjamin Harris was among the first I ever helped. Lucy was always busy managing the company. I never mentioned these things, I didn't want to distract her. Later, when I left the country, she started replying to my messages less and less. I assumed she was simply busy. I didn't realize she was drifting further away, her world gradually tilting toward Ethan Moore. When Lucy Reynolds finally stepped into the Museum of the Mysteries of Life, the reporters had already packed up. The place was quiet, the echo of her heels against the polished floor swallowed by the glass cabinets surrounding her. The moment she stood before the exhibit labeled Evan Stone, she knew without doubt that it was me. Her legs gave way. She collapsed to her knees, arms outstretched, embracing the cold glass as if she could still hold me through it. Her body trembled. She opened her mouth, but only a choked whisper escaped. She clenched her fists and banged her forehead in anguish. Her cries attracted attention. A staff member approached. "Madam, please maintain composure." Charlotte Evans rushed to explain. "She's his wife. That's her husband." The staff's face softened. They didn't stop her again until the museum prepared to close. That was when Lucy finally spoke, her voice cracked and distant. "My husband is gone." Her phone rang. Ethan Moore. This time, she answered. "Wife, where are you? Are you still at Charlotte's? When are you coming home?" Her voice was too calm. "Soon," she said. "You've had too much to drink. Stay put. Don't worry. I'll be there." She hung up, still cradling the cabinet. "James Carter, I'll settle this. And then I'll come back to apologize." Charlotte's voice was tentative. "Lucy, are you okay? Should we get some air?" Lucy gave a smile, tight, controlled, and straightened her back. "Do I look like someone who's lost control?" Charlotte said nothing. "Call some friends out for a drink?" Charlotte tried. Lucy shook her head. "Didn't you hear? I'm going home." Charlotte gestured to the wound on her forehead. "Let me take you to the hospital." Blood still trickled slowly from the crash injury. Lucy touched her brow. "This? It's nothing compared to what James endured." When she got home, Ethan Moore greeted her at the door. One look at her face and he paled. "Wife, what happened?" "I tripped." She brushed it off. He fetched a towel, trying to dab the blood away, but she pulled him down onto the couch and said gently, "Don't worry. I'm fine. I'm strong now. Take care of yourself instead." Ethan smiled sheepishly. She wrapped her arms around him from behind, stroking his chest softly. "Ethan. When will I finally have a child of my own?" His hands froze. "I want that too. But luck hasn't been on our side. Maybe if I were stronger, if Brother James hadn't caused all that chaos during our wedding, maybe then." His voice cracked. "Even now, people accuse me. They think I stole everything from him. Lucy's fingers tightened around his abdomen. Ethan. Tell me. That child, is he really yours? Her tone remained sweet, almost playful. Ethan flinched. Wife. Don't you trust me? Of course he's mine. She smiled faintly, eyes closed. The jade locket. I broke it today. Ethan sat upright. What? Why? Charlotte said someone had donated their heart to you. I was too excited. It slipped. Ethan panicked. That's bad luck. Jade breaking it's a bad omen. Then maybe, Lucy said coolly, you're the kind of bad luck that needs to be purged. Without warning, she shoved him off the couch. He hit the marble floor with a sharp thud, yelping in pain. Wife, what the hell? Still calling me that? She whispered, walking toward him slowly. Do you know who my real husband was? Ethan backed away, confused. Wait, Lucy, don't. Don't do this. He's dead, Ethan. Her voice dropped. James Carter is dead. Ethan's eyes darted nervously. I didn't know. I swear, it was a mistake. A medical accident. I had nothing to do with it. You used his heart, she said through clenched teeth. And now you play innocent. Wife, Lucy, please, we were just close yesterday. Don't do this. You're scaring me. Lucy's face twisted, her expression almost manic. She slapped him hard across the face. Ethan gasped, staring up at her, stunned. She crouched beside him and pinched his jaw with sharp fingers, smiling sweetly. Don't you want to confess something, Ethan? Or should I help you remember? Go to the hospital to seek justice. Do you want me to cause trouble at the hospital? James Carter hates such unreasonable looks the most. Do you want him to look down on me? No, he was sweating profusely from the pain. He didn't know Lucy Reynolds at all. I remember one time I went to meet a client with her. The client wanted to take advantage of me. Lucy Reynolds had a warm smile on her face and invited him to smoke together. In the blind spot of the surveillance camera, she smiled and disabled his dirty hands. You haven't answered me yet. Where is the child you mentioned at the beginning? How did I find out that his DNA doesn't match yours at all? Wife, I was wrong. I just love you too much. Yes, I was jealous of him. I was jealous of your beautiful past. I was jealous that as soon as he came back, you would publicize it to the whole world. I was jealous that you were busy organizing the 7th anniversary for him. A child belonging to us will be born soon. Haha. She turned on the faucet and pushed Ethan Moore's head into the pool. She let him struggle in the water until he was almost silent. She let go. Before leaving, she kicked him hard in the lower body. He covered his stomach and wailed loudly. Wife, my stomach hurts, take me to the hospital. His stomach was bleeding more and more. Lucy Reynolds just watched coldly until he fainted, then she walked away. 18 Taking advantage of the night, Lucy Reynolds went to our wedding room again. She tossed and turned in bed, scrolling through the information on the social platform. Someone posted a long article to clarify for me and told about what I have done for charity over the years. Many people who have received my donations also stood up. At the same time, someone also dug up Ethan Moore's past. He dropped out of school before graduating from junior high school and became a KTV male model. He was beaten in the street by his rich husband. Later, he had plastic surgery and returned to his old business. He hooked up with Lucy Reynolds. The content he dug up about him was very convincing, and he also attached a lot of photos. The most annoying thing is that he spent his own money to hire water soldiers to throw dirty water on the original wife and guide netizens to cyberbully the original wife. He is so shameless. How dare he? The original wife and the scumbag haven't divorced yet. This is the first time I have seen such an arrogant gigolo. The key is that he still uses the original wife's heart. It's all because he is too good at acting and uses us as guns. The one who deserves to die the most is the scumbag. If she hadn't cheated, how could the original wife suffer so much? Lucy Reynolds looked at the comments above and murmured, "Yes, I am the one who deserves to die the most." James Carter, wait a little longer. I will definitely apologize to you. Charlotte Evans sent Benjamin Harris's contact information, but the other party hung up as soon as he heard it was her. Lucy Reynolds had to come early in the morning and waited under his residence. Finally, he blocked Benjamin Harris, who was about to go out. "Mr. Young, please give me James Carter's relics. Isn't this the high and mighty MS? Lucy. When did he become so humble?" Benjamin Harris didn't buy it. Lucy Reynolds knelt in front of him with a plop. "I just want to take back James Carter's things as a souvenir. It's too late. We burned them according to his will. He didn't leave me a word. He just wanted you to stay away from him. This is my last wish." After she hung up my phone, I called Lily Harris. She is Benjamin Harris's sister. They were both my first students who did charity work. At that time, I had just recovered from leukemia and the company had just made a profit. Lily Harris was sick and had no money to treat it. Benjamin Harris and her grandmother were begging on the street. Her surgery fee was not very expensive. 70,000 yuan, which I happened to have. I gave her the surgery fee. Lily Harris was the one who accompanied me on my last journey. Mr. James's last wish, it means to draw a clear line with you and never see you again, whether life or death. In addition, all the shares he holds in your company have been donated to a public welfare fund. Someone related to it will take over soon. Lucy Reynolds nodded and said, "I understand. Since it is his wish, I will fulfill it all." 19 Lucy Reynolds donated all the company's shares to public welfare. After making this decision, she was arrested. When she was arrested, she was kneeling in front of my specimen in the Mystery of Life exhibition hall, holding the jade necklace that had not been given away. When she saw the police coming, she remained calm and surrendered. It was Ethan Moore who reported her. When he was found by the cleaning lady at home, he was already dying. After being sent to the hospital, his ribs were broken and his spine was fractured. He could only lie in bed for the rest of his life. When Lucy Reynolds heard about his miserable condition, she was stunned for a moment, then laughed, and laughed so hard that tears came out. He must live well. After all, he used James Carter's heart. Before leaving, she begged the police and staff to touch me with their own hands for the last time. I wanted to give him this necklace, but was rejected. She was sentenced to 5 years for intentional injury. In prison, she tried to commit suicide and wrote a will. She said she wanted to donate her body, but was rescued. Later she started to act abnormally, always in a trance, muttering, "James Carter." After she was released from prison, she finally succeeded in dying. She was afraid that others would find out too late, so she hanged herself in the hospital with a suicide note beside her. However, it was still too late. She was found a few hours later. Her organs were no longer usable. Her parents disagreed with the donation and only sent her to the crematorium for cremation. We will never see each other again in this life. The end of the story. I tried every means to ruin my ex-wife's wedding. Now you have only the empty title of MS. Lucy's ex-husband. It was not easy to get a big order of more than 20 million. At that time, we rented a cramped house. Lucy Reynolds clung to the door of the display cabinet with both hands. At the age of 18, she followed a rich woman to a first-tier city.